Whenever you think you're having a bad day, just remember you're not Ryan Fitzpatrick. He threw 6 picks yesterday after he held out for a ton of money from the Jets.
Very true. But on another life note, as Jordan-Hare Stadium announcer Rick Smith has said this week, some nights you need a second, some nights you don't. This is AU Nation. Let's go.
Hello, welcome to AU Nation. Each week we bring together members of the Auburn Student Media Group and discuss the latest topics in sports. I'm Noah Gardner.
And I'm Carter Gustin. Thanks to our producer JJ Jackson and our co-host Evan Blank, who couldn't join us today because he's guarding the Tumors Oaks. Today we'll discuss Auburn's win over LSU, answer some trivia questions, predict the weekend's biggest games, and finally we'll debate LSU's decision to fire their head coach Les Miles.
Now let's introduce today's panel of experts. Our first guest today is Pierce Miller. He is a sports writer for the Plainsman. Pierce, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. Our other expert today is Micah Larson, a play-by-play announcer for Auburn Volleyball on WEGL 91.1. Micah, how are you?
Doing well. Can't complain.
That's good. Saturday was a game for the ages as Auburn defeated LSU 18-13. Daniel Carlson kicked 6 field goals for the Tigers, and Auburn was able to hold on and beat the Bayou Bengals. First, I just want to hear from you guys on your opinion of the atmosphere inside Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Pierce, you want to go first?
It was as good as it's been, all season. I think probably Clemson was the closest, beginning of the season. We had so much hype around that game. And the good part was it kept getting better. The game was close the entire way. I think the fans got a little antsy when we couldn't score any touchdowns, but I think it was definitely exciting, and of course, it ended on the last play of the game. So, it was an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, to me, at the beginning of the game and prior to the game, it didn't really feel like the atmosphere was that great. It didn't feel like an Auburn-LSU game. But as the game went on, I think a lot of Auburn fans kind of felt that desperation that the season had. The season was teetering on going off the tracks, and you kind of felt that desperation and anxiety come to a peak at the end of the game with 1 second left. Go figure. And, when the call went our way, everybody, it just kind of let out and went to joy, and you kind of experienced that. And that's the loudest I've ever screamed at an Auburn football game, and you definitely kind of felt how happy everyone was, and it's a long time coming.
For me, it was a big thing is at halftime, it was kind of, it was intense like it always is at the beginning of the game. It's loud, everyone's into it. And at halftime, I looked up the scoreboard, I'm like, hey, we're winning this thing. And we might actually have a chance. We just might have a chance. Then they started getting a little bit more intense. And it got down to the end of the game. 1 second, I was like, oh, God, we're getting a payback for the kick six. Yeah. I saw it. The thought went through my head. It scared the daylights out of me, but they survived it. It was crazy ending.
Yeah, I think you guys all hit the nail on the head on this. Before the game, I think that was the emptiest I'd seen the stadium in my 4 years of being here for when the Eagle flew. I was like, normally people like to be in here for this. That's kind of when the atmosphere really cranks it up another notch.
And now the drone's flying around, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's always flying around. We find that we do anything. It's like if there's anything around the stadium, War Eagle to that, yeah. It was just a phenomenal atmosphere. And like you said, I was about to just delete my Twitter account because I didn't want to get on social media if we lost with 1 second left. I was like, I know after all the things that I've said the past 3 years about, you need a second, that it was just gonna come back and hit me big time.
So what does this win do for Auburn going forward this season, guys? It was a big win for the Tigers, or at least one of them for that matter, and both teams really needed the win, and Auburn came away with it. What does it do for them going forward this year?
It was big for now. It's we needed that desperately. I think that game, a lot of people were talking about Gus Malzahn on the hot seat, and I obviously said earlier it was the same way for LSU, and it ended up in the wrong way for them. And it's just survive right now. You got a couple big games coming up, UL Monroe, and then Mississippi State and Arkansas. They're going to be big games that I think are going to be huge for this season if we are to get to a respectable bowl game. Yeah. So definitely some big games coming up, but in terms of a win, that was huge for us.
Yeah, for me, like I said earlier, the season was teetering on destruction. It really was. If Auburn lost this past weekend, I would be really doubtful that Auburn would be going to a bowl game. And with a win, this makes me really feel like Auburn can get to a bowl game this year and possibly do even better than that because you expect to beat Louisiana Monroe and Alabama A&M. You expect to be able to beat Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, so that puts you at 6 wins right there. Then you get ULM and Mississippi State to still kind of figure out your offense a little bit more. And if it's getting going by the time Arkansas comes here, they could possibly still win against Arkansas, and the Georgia doesn't look that good. So Auburn could really be at 8 wins at the end of the year. So in a matter of 1 second, Auburn went from going
Still keep that joke going now, the 1 second joke. I love it.
In a matter of 1 second, Auburn's season went from possibly not even going to a bowl game, from having hope to having a little bit more than a bowl game.
I think LSU win was big because it did give us a little bit more opportunity to get to a better bowl game if that's possible. That's where we're going to end this season. But the big thing for me, and I hate to be the pessimistic one, is watching that Auburn game is I don't think we won the game. LSU lost that game more than we won that game. Yes, we did end up winning. We got the W, and that's good. But it's just I'm still not really that confident in what we're doing. We went down the red zone, 5 times, came away with no touchdowns, got stopped on the 1-inch line. I hate to be the pessimistic one, but I'm not really that confident yet. We did win.
But did LSU do any better?
No, we didn't. They didn't either, and that's why we won.
You could say if we were to lose that we lost the game is all our
exactly.
fault, so.
Yeah, exactly. I think Auburn went and won that game as opposed to LSU having lost that.
I mean, both sides. I tend to teeter more on the side of, and I know I ran by you in the game, Noah, and you were like, we're going to win this game. And I was like, I sure hope you're right. I hope you're right. It just, like, you get to the red zone. But this is what has happened with Auburn football, it seems like, the past 3 years. As we get to the red zone, starting back to the Iron Bowl and Nick Marshall's last year. That was, 2 seasons ago now? I mean, we're in the red zone over and over, and Gus says, we could have put up 80 on them. And I said, well, why didn't we? We couldn't score in the red zone. So that's something to me where I'm like, okay, defense is great. Offense looked better. We moved the ball, which was good. LSU's not a pushover on defense. But what are we going to do when we get inside the 20? We got to figure that out. But for the most part, I think, yes, moving forward, it's big. My fear is Mississippi State, that's our first road game of the year.
That's
late in the season, too.
So that's where you're like, okay, you know what to expect when your team's at home, but what do you get when you go on the road?
That's true.
When it's just them, when they don't have the crowd around them, that's where you figure out your team.
And on the road, you gotta score touchdowns. You can't settle for field goals.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
So I think we'll find out a lot about Auburn in 2 weeks, even more than we did this past week.
Yeah, fun fact here, Auburn hasn't scored more than 19 points in an SEC home game since the season of 2014 when they played Texas A&M at home in that 41-38 loss. So still a long ways to go for this Auburn Tigers offense, but I think they took steps
23-point favorites
this past
that
weekend.
We blew it.
It's going to be an exciting weekend of college football. On the other side of the break, we'll predict the biggest games. AU Nation, Eagle Eye TV. This upcoming weekend, we have several big games to watch. Now, it's time to make some picks. On Friday night, the 7th-ranked Stanford Cardinal travel to Seattle to play the 10th-ranked Huskies of Washington in a big Pac-12 matchup.
Well, Stanford. I mean, David Shaw, Christian McCaffrey. I know Washington barely escaped, from Arizona last week. So I haven't seen too much of Washington this year, and I've seen enough of Stanford. So Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting it right there. Stanford's looked good defensively. They played some quality teams already, have shut them down. I mean, they shut down UCLA's offense last week. Washington, on the other hand, played a bunch of patsies for their first couple of games and then traveled to Arizona and barely got out with a win. It took OT to get the W. So I'm going to take Stanford in this one. Defense is stifling. Good luck, Washington.
I think I'm going to go with the trees. And Stanford, I think.
I feel like that's an offensive term to them.
I don't know.
I really do.
I don't know.
Love it.
The thing is, with Washington, you don't really know what you have yet. I mean, they haven't really shown up yet. Their schedule's not too bad this year. You just don't know what you have yet. Stanford, you know what you got. Last week they showed they have defensive chops to get it done. I really like what they're doing, and Christian McCaffrey is just a beast, man. I'd take him every week.
That's what. Yeah, you ride that gravy train. If you're picking this game, you pick Stanford just because of McCaffrey because. Teams every week, they know who's getting the ball. It's number 5, but no one so far this season has figured out how to
Or
stop
last
them.
season.
Yeah, or last
Nobody
season.
has done it yet.
However, Washington, their head coach's name came over from Boise State, I believe it was 4 years ago, whose name is
Peterson.
Peterson.
Yeah.
And this is what he's been building for. This is his recruits now, so we'll see. I expect this to be a close game. I think Washington is a quality program, but we'll see what happens. I'm still picking Stanford, but I think it will be a close, actual good matchup.
I think so too.
Now let's shift our attention to the SEC. After their first win against Florida in over a decade, Josh Dobbs and number 11 Tennessee head to Athens to take on number 25 Georgia, and what many people are saying is going to pretty much decide the SEC East.
Yeah, I like Tennessee in this game. They really impressed me last week against Florida. I thought Florida would have played a better game. They had them for a while, but then just out of nowhere, Josh Dobbs and Tennessee just come back and just, really just took it to Florida in the second half. I like Josh Dobbs in Tennessee. I think he's, still a Heisman candidate. And people kind of slept on him. Obviously, McCaffrey, Deshaun Watson's still there. But I like Josh Dobbs, and I think he's going to get Tennessee this win this week.
Yeah, despite the fact that some people have pulled the plug on the Volunteers this year.
We'll get
Yes, we'll get there. I think our arguments will be way too long for this. But yeah, despite the fact that you have pulled the plug on Tennessee this year, and they only played for pretty much a half last weekend against Florida, and they played well for that second half, but they really went out there, and they're finding ways to win these games. As much as people want to say, they're finding ways to win games, and that's what matters, is winning games. And Georgia, on the other hand, doesn't look good at all. I mean, you can say what you want about Tennessee. Georgia has looked bad in 3 of the 4 games they've played this year, and the one game that they actually looked good against was North Carolina. But you can't tell me that a team that could only beat Nichols by 2 points and it has struggled in all of the other games and then just absolutely got whooped by Ole Miss last week. And I think Ole Miss is a great team. But Georgia looks awful.
Yeah.
Give me the balls.
Well, you make the point about Georgia against Nichols. Well, Tennessee had overtime against Appalachian. So
A good team, though. A much better team than Nichols.
Tennessee.
A much better team than Nichols.
I have-
Georgia over Nichols.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see this weekend. I have officially pulled the plug on Tennessee. I don't believe. I'm not a believer. Let's see. They
A
played.
believer? I mean, you got all this purple on right now.
I love it. I do love it. They played 3 good quarters of football. 3.
And they burnt. Hey, and Tennessee burned you last week. Are you gonna?
I'm gonna stick
let them burn you
I
again?
am not confident in Tennessee whatsoever. I have 0 confidence. You don't know what team you're going to get. The second half against Florida is the team we
true.
expected
That's
all
true.
season. But besides that, that's been all they've done. They haven't
That's
done
a good
anything.
point.
They've played 3 good quarters, and that's it. Until they give me any sort of reason to be confident, I have no confidence in Tennessee whatsoever. Bulldogs.
I got beef with both these teams, if I'm being totally honest. You fire Mark Drick and you bring in Kirby Smart because he's supposed to win the big game. And you just saw what happened last week. He got drummed. Him and his dogs got drummed. I mean, granted, it's first road, big SEC road test for him and his
Defense is
Bulldogs.
supposed to be better than that, though.
Yeah, exactly. And that rubs me wrong. 'Cause I'm like, okay, you fired this guy, and this is what you brought him in for. So this is a big game for him too. Okay, this is another big game. This is the SEC now. Your head honcho. Every week you got to bring your A game, and it's all going to be on your shoulders. Tennessee, if we can find a way to combine last year's team with this year's team, then they'll play a complete game. So that's what bothers me more than
so true.
anything. Dude, it does. Last year they blew everything in the second half. This year they don't wake up until halftime. So this game will be, I think Tennessee's going to win. And it is sad that this team has had so much potential for so long. And they have we see glimpses. We see these little moments. And it's like you said, it's inconsistent. But when's it's got to click. You got to be consistent if you want to play in the Georgia Dome against more than likely Alabama, and beat them. You have to be consistent, fundamental football for 4 quarters.
Hey, three good quarters all season long, enough to win 4 games. It'll be interesting to see what happens
a long
when they have
season.
to take on the Bulldogs. ABC Saturday night primetime game features 2 Heisman Trophy-level quarterbacks in Clemson's Deshaun Watson and Louisville's Lamar Jackson. Who do you guys think wins? Number 3 Louisville or 5th-ranked Clemson?
I like Clemson in this game. I really do. Deshaun Watson, his leadership, I think, is going to really lead the Tigers to victory. I like for Louisville to get off to a good start. They're hot. They're playing great right now. But I think the leadership of Deshaun Watson and the experience that this Clemson team has in big games is going to get them this win.
Hey, that's a good pick. I really like that pick. I'm going to take Clemson. If you've got Deshaun
Pull out the
Watson-
headgear.
Yeah,
Pull out
pull
the
out the
headgear.
headgear.
Not so
Yeah.
fast, my friend.
Yeah, right. That's a good pick because Deshaun Watson, Mike Williams, and Wayne Gallman, that offense, people are sleeping on it after those first 2 weeks. It wasn't a good first 2 weeks. But if you stopped watching after those first 2 weeks, you haven't seen the good that they've put together on the field these last 2 weeks against, well, South Carolina State, but then Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's got a good defense, and you even picked Georgia Tech last week.
I
So
did.
give a
I
little
did.
bit of
Wow.
respect
I did.
to this Clemson
The Rambling
team
Wreck.
that has gone out there and has improved offensively and has been a great defensive team all year long. Give me Clemson.
Mike is going to like this. Not so fast. You too. I'm taking Louisville. I think Louisville prides themselves on just being explosive right out of the gate, scoring first drive, touchdown, 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 touchdown. And they just demoralize their opponents. You saw what they did against Florida State. And Florida State's a good team, y'all. I think that Clemson is better. I'll give you that. I did pick Georgia Tech last week, and I wasn't believing in Clemson. They are better, but they are. I think these two teams are at different levels entirely. I like Clemson. Not Louisville. Clemson. I like Clemson to lose. Clemson lose. Louisville wins. Wow.
I mean, the question is Jackson going to play in the fourth quarter in this game? I guess that's the better question these days. The guy hasn't played a full football game all season. But I think he will play 4 quarters. I think this will be a fun one. This is in Death Valley, correct?
Yes, it is.
The ACC Death Valley,
Yeah.
which we'll touch on. The other Death Valley actually being a Death Valley.
Yeah.
Dreams did come to die there. Oh, sorry, too soon. But I think I'm taking Louisville in this one. I wasn't a believer for a long time, and then they played FSU. And being a Florida guy, that was something kind of fun to watch. Twitter was silent from all my FSU friends. It was not a lot of people talking, but I think Clemson, like you said, has improved. Granted, it's been against lesser opponents, but when you have Deshaun Watson at quarterback, anything can happen.
Straight ahead, we answer some trivia questions. Last week, Noah Gardner choked it away in trivia. Can he find his clutch gene this week? Find out next on Eagle Eye TV.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis.
45, there goes Davis!
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
Welcome back to AU Nation. Let's answer some trivia questions. Each panelist will get 4 questions worth 1 point each, and the 5th question will be asked to all the panelists and is worth 5 points. Of course, if they can make me laugh or give me an answer that I really like, then I'll just give out bonus points however I see fit. Noah, you ready not to choke it away this week? You had the lead going to the last question, but lost it there at the end.
Hey, I was 4 for 4, and I was like 2 points off on the bonus question. And then someone else comes in there strong, 1 point away. And
We'll see.
Took it away,
We'll see what
so-
happens. We'll see what bonus points I give out this
I
week.
think choke is
but
a little harsh.
Micah, you get the first question. Notre Dame fell to 1-3 on the season thanks to a home loss against this ACC school.
That'd be the Duke Blue Devils.
That is correct. For 1 point, Noah Gardner, the Tennessee snapped their losing streak to rival Florida on Saturday. Their losing streak lasted how many years?
11.
11 years. Pierce, then Scully, called his final game at Dodger Stadium on Sunday. Scully worked the Dodgers for how many seasons? It's tougher. It's a tougher question.
Yeah,
It's a much
that's
tougher
like
question.
not even.
I'm going to go 45.
45. That is wrong. Very, very wrong.
Very wrong.
like
Very
60
wrong.
something.
Oh, Micah?
I don't know the 63.
Wrong. No, you want to take a shot at it?
67.
67.
Wow.
Wow.
Give it
Bonus
to me.
point.
Let's go.
Micah, once again, which NFC West team got hit with multiple fines and draft pick losses for OTA violations this past week?
Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks is
Pete Carroll
correct.
doing something illegal. Shocker. R.I.P.
Oh, man.
USC. Still haven't recovered from that.
Noah, this AL East team has a winning streak of 11 games.
The Red Sox.
Boston Red Sox is correct. The Green
Sox.
Monster is alive
Sox.
and well. Pierce, how many interceptions did Ryan Fitzpatrick throw Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs?
That'd be 6. I know that because he's on my fantasy team.
Are you
Oh.
okay? Did you win?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't
sorry.
imagine.
I'm
so.
giving you a bonus point because I feel bad for you. Micah, which NFL game went to overtime on Sunday? Is it A, the Rams, Buccaneers, B, the Ravens and Jaguars, or C, the Dolphins and the Browns?
It'd be the Dolphins and Browns, thanks to Auburn alum Cody Parkey.
Who won the game?
That would be the Dolphins.
That's correct for a bonus point. Noah, Lamar Jackson added to his impressive TD total Saturday against Marshall, scoring 7 more touchdowns. How many total touchdowns has Jackson accounted for this season? Is it A, 25, B, 26, or C, 23?
25.
25, are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
That's correct.
You got to do that. Is that your
25.
final
Is
answer?
that your final answer?
For sure.
Pierce. On Sunday, golfing legend Arnold Palmer sadly passed away, dying at the age of 87. Palmer won 62 career PGA events. However, Palmer did not win all 4 majors. Which major did Palmer not win? Is it the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, the Masters, or the Open, formerly known as the British Open?
The U.S. Open.
Are you sure?
Not really, but
That's not
go
right.
with
It's the PGA Championship. I'm sorry, Pierce. I'm sorry. Micah, which NBA superstar announced his retirement this past week?
As my man that I've been a fan of since day one. I grew up a T-Wolves fan, had season tickets. R.I.P. to the big ticket, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin
And his
Garnett is
NBA
correct.
career. He's still kicking. He's still kicking.
Anything is possible.
Yes.
Noah, 4 of the 6 MLB divisions have been clinched already. Name one of the 2 yet to be clinched.
The AL Central,
Can you name the other?
AL East.
That's correct. For 2 points, Noah is just pulling away. I'm sorry, guys, but these bonus points are just going out.
I don't get
left and
bonus
right.
points for knowing KG's nickname.
Sure. Sure, why not? And for the last why not? For the last
Hey,
of the
if you
lightning
ask, you
round
shall
questions,
receive.
Pierce, Terrell Pryor played quarterback, wide receiver, in what other position in the Browns' Week 3 loss?
safety.
That is correct. That is correct. All right, for the final question, going into it, Micah and Noah are tied at 5, and Pierce is falling behind, bringing up the rear with 3 points. Sorry, Pierce. Final question, we're going to start over here with Micah. Name one, or after week 3 of the NFL season, 5 teams are still undefeated. Name one of them.
Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings is one. I'm not surprised you went with that one. Noah, can you name another?
The New England Patriots.
That is correct. Pierce, can you name one?
My Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos is correct. Micah, goes back to you.
Oh, jeez. Wait, another nameless team? Oh, okay.
Yeah, name another
winless
team. There's still more out there.
Ooh, yeah.
Nope, you're done. All right.
Oh,
Noah?
Los Angeles Rams. Oh, no. I take that back. No, they did not.
You meant to say Chicago Bears.
I think, that's an automatic
No.
loss for Noah, I think.
I
think that's an automatic. Pierce?
Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore
Oh,
Ravens,
yeah.
and can you name the last one?
This is it. I'm about to choke again.
NFC East.
NFC East.
Let's see. Oh, New York Giants.
Nope, that's wrong.
Oh,
You
no.
lose 2 because you got it wrong, and I just feel like it. Micah, you're the winner because you did not get the last one right.
But I know the team.
I'm sorry you didn't say it before. Micah, congratulations, you have won.
It's the Eagles.
You get a big hug from me later. This is A Nation.
This is a place where it only takes a second to imagine your future. Grasp a new concept in class. Inspire a child's curiosity. Discover a real-world solution. Seize an unexpected opportunity.
There goes Davis.
This is where you gain the preparation, confidence, and determination to succeed. This is Auburn.
Welcome back to AU Nation. It is time now for a burning question. On Sunday, news broke that Les Miles had been fired as the head football coach at LSU following the 18-13 loss to Auburn. Miles had a 112-32 overall record. He compiled 16 wins against top 10 teams, coached 13 NFL first-round picks, a 7-4 bowl game record, won 2 SEC championships, and most notably won the 2007 BCS National Championship. Guys, should Les Miles have been fired?
I believe so. I think it was time. You read off that record and you think, wow, it's an incredible record, but if you look at the way things have gone the past really 3 seasons, you can go even farther than that with the talent they've had, all the first-round picks they've had, and you can't even get to the playoff the last 2 years or the BCS. They're going a little farther back. I think it was definitely time. He's still recruiting well, but inside that program, in the locker room, things just aren't clicking.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You look at those stats, and you think you shouldn't fire the guy. And you look at people, ESPN putting out stuff of he's won 8 win seasons for, I think it's 8 years in a row now or something like that. And you look at that, but this isn't the first time that LSU has been talking about firing Les Miles. Not even last year was the first time.
Right.
I mean, several years before that, it's been going on for some time, like you said. And the fact is, they just haven't been meeting expectations since that national championship win. I know they went to they won an SEC championship in 2012 and went to the national championship that year, but still did not win it. A lot of people thought they should have won it, and then from that point on, it really has been disappointment for LSU, and I completely agree with the move. They still can salvage this year. Orgeron's been a pretty good interim head coach in the past when he was at USC, so I think they can possibly salvage something with him, but it's looking rough in Baton Rouge for the future.
I don't like the move. I don't like firing a coach mid-season. I don't know what it does for you. What's the best case scenario now? That you're going to pull out a couple more wins and not win the SEC championship anymore? They're not winning the West. I don't know. What does getting rid of your coach midseason do?
Well, at this point, it's about trying to make a bowl game because LSU could not go to a bowl game this year.
Yeah, but getting rid of a coach just shows instability. Midseason shows instability in your program, and I don't like it from a recruiting standpoint. I don't like it. Coach O is good, and he'll probably do fine. But what is LSU's next move? Because you know they want somebody big. Well, who are they going to get? What are they going to do? Are they going to give Coach O, who all thought he's going to get the job at USC? They got rid of him for a nobody, and look what he's doing. So I don't know. I just don't.
They got rid of him for Sarkisian.
Yeah, but what's he doing?
Now he's at Bama.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's my point.
I could throw out a couple
But
names.
I just don't see what LSU's next move is.
I mean, you know what their next move is going to be.
What's their next move?
I mean, they're going to go after Tom Herman and Art Briles.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the two names that have already been thrown out. They have a move to make. I don't agree with the Art Briles move, but I think Tom Herman would be a high-profile take. And also, I'll throw out two other names. One of them definitely probably won't happen, but someone close to the hearts of Auburn fans that's made SEC moves before, Tommy Tuberville wouldn't be a bad look. And then also Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino wouldn't be a bad look.
He's an LSU guy. They love him in Baton Rouge. Jimbo Fisher. They want him bad now. It's going to be tough. He's at a great spot at Florida State.
Yeah.
So,
I think any decision can be made easy, though, if you throw the right amount of money at somebody.
Right.
But we'll see what,
Which is where my Bobby Petrino look comes in at. Louisville can't hold on to a guy like that if LSU throws a large enough wad of cash at him. And Bobby Petrino would want back into the SEC. And, hey, it's LSU, a perfect opportunity for him to stick it to Arkansas.
Well, do you think recruiting-wise that wouldn't actually be a help for them? I think it could help them recruiting-wise. Think about it. What if you keep Les Miles all year long and you have that uncertainty? Will he be back?
It's also true.
You could, that could keep recruits away from Baton Rouge. Maybe you say, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're move on from Les Miles, and that way you could, I guess keep recruits still interested and not, afraid of the commitment of committing to a team that might not have their coach next season.
Yeah, I think the big thing, too, is I'm with you. I don't like firing a coach halfway through the season.
Not even halfway.
Or, yes, even halfway. In season at all. But the flip side of that coin is if you ride that train out through the season and Les is recruiting everybody and everything, and then you got 2 weeks to hire a coach and get his staff assembled, and you guys get on the recruiting trail and try and keep your recruiting class together or assemble something of what's left of the ashes if it just falls apart. So the only guy that you can bring in right now that's not coaching a major program that you're thinking about bringing in or an offensive coordinator is Art Briles.
Right.
And I don't think that's such a sticky situation.
It doesn't have to be sticky. You just stay away from it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, but hey, we in America, and I know this sounds terrible, we tend to overlook things as long as you're winning football games. And that's horrible. But the big thing that I took away from this game, and it was deemed the buyout bowl between Auburn and LSU, is no matter what, both teams were thinking, okay, if we win this game, he buys another week for some people, or, we kind of let it ride out. If he doesn't, boom, you're done.
Right.
And that's just the SEC West now. I read an article today that was talking about could Les Miles have been a Hall of Fame, maybe one of the best coaches in SEC history if Kiffin, or it's not Kiffin, excuse me. No, forget him. If Saban had stayed in the NFL.
Yeah, he might have.
Because what's happening is Alabama is putting a consistent winner out on the field every single year. So teams like Auburn, LSU,
the rest of the country,
and the rest of the country think, okay, that's what the standard is now.
Yeah.
And there's one national champion every single year. 4 teams make the playoffs. The rest of you You go to a bowl game, and you just hope you win your bowl game.
Right.
So you're not going to win a national championship every year, and I know that's the goal, but there has to be some sort of mentality where it's like, okay, we know that that's almost irrational. What Alabama's doing is insane.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
It is.
my only question to you on this, because I get what you're saying, was LSU really actually competing for national championships since 2012?
I was going to say, these past 2 years, I'd say no.
It really doesn't seem like they've competed for a national
Up until
championship.
November, until Bama last year, they were. I mean, they were number, what,
and
2 in the
then,
nation?
and then what happened? After Alabama,
They fell
it went,
off the
Well,
rest, yeah.
regardless if you think he should have been fired or not, I don't, whatever. Less is actually not more, and Coach O is taking over in LSU. But that's it for today's show. Can't wait to be back with another episode of AU Nation next week. We'll see you guys then. Peace.